Hello everybody, Thiago here. So today it's July 11th. I'm going to share a huge update to my JavaScript soccer engine, and I have been working with Grok and Gemini, and apparently they are having a baby now. So they helped me to do some adjustments to the AI here. And look at this. I created this view to control the settings better, so it's a pop-up, so I do not need to keep scrolling down and up when changing settings, but I can enable those AI debug overlay. So for example, I can enable support spots, key rows, pass lanes. Let me put this window here, and play phase, predicted ball, and several options here to help debug the AI. So there is even this offside line. Let me change the zoom so people can see the offside line. Let me, so yeah, now it's possible to see. So there are several options to help debug the AI, and this is really helpful because sometimes we find some weird behavior where the players start to do some movements that are not expected. So it helps checking and then, for example, saying to the AI, oh, check the state, there's a bug. The bug happens when there's this and that condition. So yeah, it helps. All those settings here helps. I'm going to enable everything so people can see. Let me reset. Yeah, but usually we do not enable everything. It's just a few settings that help identify the context of a certain bug. And other than that, I have implemented some small features. For example, the weather condition here. So I can change to raining. Let me change the camera so it's better to visualize, and then I can change to snow. This is currently just cosmetic. I'm planning that depending on the weather to change the physics. So for example, when it's snowy, it changed the ball physics and the players this the players attributes, something like that. And yeah, the other news about this week is that I identified a huge issue with my process. So I was working with Gemini and Grok, and I had an agent.markdown, right, .md file in the root directory. The problem is that file was huge, right, like many tokens. Every time that I asked a question, it would read that file and consumed a lot of tokens per session, and that drained most of my credits this week. And then I learned my lesson. So I split my that agents.md files in other files, and then I created a router. So that agents.md is now like looks like a router. So it's, let me show the content of that file here. Um, Let me see here. So yeah, so this is the content of the file basically. So it says, oh, if you are checking architecture, hierarchy, or determinism, check this file. For player AI passes, check that other file, and so on. So with that, it helps saving tokens, and that helps make it possible to do more stuff per week. So I learned the lesson. I also changed a lot of small things to optimize credits usage, because if you do not do this, like you, this week I could not do that many stuff, and then I checked most of the weekly limits have been reached, and it was really bad. And now I start to try to find options to improve this. And yeah, this week I'm mostly done with this project here. So now I'm going to wait until next week to get the weekly limits reset and then continue. But until then, I'm going to try to also find other small optimizations that I could do in the process to help not um, end up like this, like without weekly credits, just because of a small mistake that does not change that much. For example, that agents.md was a huge mistake. It was not helping having a huge file in the root directory. Changing to smaller piece does not change the output. I mean the quality output. It helps improving the credits usage, and that's what I'm going to try next, like finding some other ways to um, reduce the credit usage, the tokens consumption, and that is it. So yeah, I think for now I'm going to halt this project for some days and then go back. So see you until next time.